Hello, my name is Tally, and I am doing a reading for the, well, it's for you. I shouldn't take that. That actually technically didn't pop out. So I'm just pulling, I wait for cards to pop out. So I'm just shuffling here, waiting for cards to pop out. This is for a playlist called It's All About You, Baby, and it's just any message regarding you and maybe things that you need to know. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so instead of it being about a love relationship or your family or your friends or, whoa, that's too many. Or, finance. I've got playlists for those other areas. This one is focused on you, the individual, or that's the intention behind it anyways. So hopefully some sort of message comes in for you regarding yourself that you might need right now. So I'm just looking for one more card from this deck. Oh, that's too many. These cards are just flying all over the place here. Kind of a slippery deck, this one. It's the round Mother Peace tarot deck. So sometimes, which can help help the cards come out a lot quicker, but sometimes it makes them a little bit more unmanageable. There we go. And then I just need one oracle card here. And then we'll be ready to read the cards. There we go. All right. So the first card out regarding message for you is Five of Swords. And to clarify, Five of Swords, we're getting the Four of Cups. So I feel like this is saying that maybe anything that just doesn't jive with you, maybe you're needing to, or you are sort of walking away from those things, or not, like some things that aren't aligned to you maybe, or things that don't resonate with you. You're just, I just see this girl in this card. She's sort of giving one of those cups the hand, right? Like you're just sort of like, that's not for me. And you just sort of mosey on to the next cup, right? Like, and maybe you're not even fazed by it. Maybe you've in the past just sort of accepted situations that maybe weren't good for you, maybe things that sort of brought in sort of like a discord within yourself, like where you felt like sort of caught between two worlds, right? Or maybe in the past you were more willing to sort of allow that into your life, and maybe right now, or maybe this is the stance you should take, where you just don't allow those things that don't jive with you in anymore. You don't, you just sort of give it the hand, right? So the next card that we're getting is the Two of Pentacles. And to clarify the Pentacles card, we're getting darkness. So maybe this is going to sort of bring you into balance. It's going to, like, once you start, or if you have already started to say no to things that don't really jive with you anymore, Maybe you haven't noticed, but this is, or maybe it will come out that this will bring you into more balance with yourself, right? Because I feel like when we choose to not accept things that don't jive with us, we are essentially choosing ourselves. That's what I believe. We're, when we turn away something that maybe isn't, or we don't feel like it's meant for us, or it doesn't, we're not clicking with it, whether it's a person, a job, or whatever it is, if it's not clicking with us and we just, allow it to pass us by, or we don't go after it, or we don't allow it into our life, then, technically we're saying, I choose me. I choose me. I choose my happiness. I choose to not be in conflict with myself. Like, because if you do say yes to these, playing devil's advocate here, if you did say yes to something that you technically wanted to say no to, it's just gonna, like, yeah, it might make someone happy in the interim, but like eventually it's going to create a conflict within your head, because you're going to be going back and forth, like, no, I didn't really want to say yes, but I said, like, if you offer, like, if somebody asked for a favor, say $20, can I borrow $20? And you don't really want to lend them $20, but you say, okay. Well, then after you say okay to the $20, it ain't even about the $20, because you probably have lots of $20, or hopefully you do. But it's about the mind. It screws with your mind, right? Because then if they don't pay you back, then you're like, man, they didn't pay me back. See, I should have listened to myself when I said don't lend them $20, like, so it just creates back and forth in your mind, or, are they going to pay me back, or are they not? And it just, like, it's not, it creates thoughts in our head that we don't need to be thinking. You know what I mean? Like, so therefore, if we don't go with that, right, and we choose ourselves, we choose what we actually, our first answer, our gut instinct, to whatever, the question was, we chose it, and that's going to be like, oh yay, it's going to create balance within me, because now I don't have my mind going back and forth between all these things about lending this guy $20 and not getting my money back, and so it's, and that's just a small scale example. It could be on a large scale, it could be whatever in your life. And maybe you're not realizing that it's creating balance within you with that darkness card there. So the next card out we're getting is the Page of Wands in reverse. And to clarify that, we're getting the Chariot card. So I'm feeling like maybe somebody might be really focused on the future. Maybe somebody might be, I want to say, like, too focused on the future, too focused on, wanting things to happen in a certain area, wanting things to grow, wanting things to, yeah, and I feel like the advice is to just not focus on it, to not, kind of like what is the saying? A pot that's watched never boils. A pot of water that somebody's like keeping an eye on. It's like, man, when's this water gonna boil? Especially if you're in a hurry to make supper, right? Or whatever, and you're like, this pot of water is just taking forever, and you're watching it, and you're like, when's it gonna boil? And it's never boiling because you're like standing there watching it. But actually, it probably would boil in the same amount of time as if you know, start chopping up vegetables or something and focus on something else, you know. So that's sort of a little bit different of message than the first two piles. At the bottom of this deck, we're getting the Eight of Coins in reverse. So, yeah, I think this has to do with just, you know, not focusing on the future, or worrying about the future, or like, this is the guy, this is the pot boiling right here. You know, these are the bubbles waiting for, he's waiting for the bubbles to appear, right? If it was upright. So like, it coming out in reverse to me says he shouldn't be watching that pot boil, you know? And then at the bottom of this deck, we're getting the Seven of Wands. So that's two sevens side by side. So yeah, I feel like this relates to the first message, because this girl here, I think it's a woman in this card, is like saying no to all these people. Right? And maybe that's hard to do. Maybe it's hard for some people to do out there, to say no to, you know, not be the yes person all the time, right? Like, maybe this person, well, it's talking about you, right? It's all about you, baby. But maybe in the past you were the yes person, yes, yes, yes to everything. And maybe you need to start saying no, no, no. Right? And just standing up for what you actually want, right? And not being scared to, it's essentially standing up for yourself, right? Your own beliefs, what you want in your life. So just not feel guilty about it either, right? At the bottom of this deck, we're getting the Trust card. So I feel like this has to do with the the watched pot, right? Message. So like, trust that it's gonna work out. Trust that things will eventually get there. That the water will boil eventually, you know, and trust that it will happen, I think is. And trust, I think this also has to do with the first message too. Trust yourself and your own discernment and your own gut instinct, you know. What you want in your life is right for you. Yeah, it may not be right for the next guy, the guy who wanted the $20 who's now not going to have $20. But like, you know, sometimes you got to look out for number one, because it's all about you, baby. Yeah, I just think, just trust your own. Maybe you'll need that $20 next week for something else, you know, like, you don't know why you're being told, your gut is telling you say no today, right? It's not to be mean to that person, right? It's because maybe subconsciously, or your higher self or something is telling you within, oh, I'm going to need that $20 for something else next week, right? And you don't know it at the time, but it is making your life work out the way you need it to work out. So just trusting yourself is gonna, you know, eliminate some sort of problem in the future, right? And so I think that's also a message here in this card. So hopefully there was something in here for you today. Until next time, see you.